Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on which side of the world are you watching this webinar. First, thank you to all of the international clients for demanding the webinar in English. A quick introduction about me. My name is Venezia. I do international sales for this company for almost 6 months, and I love every day out of it. And I'm pretty sure you're gonna love the tool almost as much as I do. So let's get started. On the content for today, it's data feed marketing. First, we're going to talk what it is, and then we're going to talk a bit about Channable, and then we're going to deep dive into the tool with the setup of the import, feeds, marketplaces, and at the end, it's question time. So we start with advertisers and online retailers, of course. So what do they want? They basically want to sell their goods and services. And how do they do that? They do it by achieving traffic to their website. The more traffic, the bigger the chance that somebody's going to buy something. However, they cannot get a big fragment of the total traffic population. So they even if they get the small one, they always want to go for more, and of course, it's pretty normal. How do we achieve traffic? Traffic we achieve through offline marketing, first of all, radio, TV, billboards, sponsors, newspapers, flyers, coupons. But I'm not here to talk about the news, so let's talk about online marketing. As we can see, there's different variants of the online marketing itself. We started SEO, social media, YouTube, Google AdWords, comparison engines, blog, etc., 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 marketplaces. We're gonna deep dive into more concrete the data feed marketing, since I mentioned it in the beginning. Data feed marketing consists of marketplaces, affiliate networks, newsletters, comparison engines, and Google AdWords. What is a data feed? What is it? How do you get one? Can you eat it? What can you actually do with it? So data feed is basically a file containing all kinds of information about services or products. For example, title, description, price, shipping price, color, size, and IAN codes and other attributes. How does a data feed look like? Well, on the left side now you can see how a website looks like, and then we can see what is the title, we can see the price, we can see the image, but actually a data feed looks like this. If we take a closer look, in the red we can see various attributes such as ID, name, price, brand, image, stock, and in white are the actual values for these attributes. As we can see, here's the URL for the image and the price itself, the ID number, and so on and so on. Of course, the description. How do you get your data feed? Well, you can get it in various ways. So there's some e-commerce generating platforms such as WooCommerce, Lightspeed, Magento, PrestaShop, and MindBigGill, or you can also get it as a CSV, XML, or text file, or maybe a Google spreadsheet, whatnot. Advantages of data feed marketing. Well, of course you can reach millions and millions of customers, and also the reached customers are willing to make a purchase, and that's the whole point of it anyways. It's easy, it's a really easy first step to online marketing, and of course diverse usage of data feeds. And what I mean by diverse usage of data feeds, let's see. So first, you get to export your data feeds to comparison engines just like Google Shopping, Fashion Chick, or Kelco, or Shopalike, or marketplaces like Amazon and eBay and Bestlist. Affiliate networks, retargeting and display networks, text ads, search engines, and others. Basically, the variety is endless. What is the goal? You want your data feed to be exported to all of those channels. However, if you actually start doing it one by one, that's gonna take ages because you have to match the different specifications of each export channel. Well, what if I told you there's actually a tool that can help you save some time and costs, and it's gonna make the whole effort effortless. Ta-da! Jokes. So here I introduce you to our tool, Channable. Again, we have the same travel bag website in which if you actually start putting them through Amazon or Marktplaats or Google Shopping individually, it's going to take you a lot of time, you have to put a lot of effort, and probably not everybody is known with the specifications of those channels. However, in Channable, we already have everything ready for you, which makes the optimization easy, time saving, and pretty cost efficient. So let's talk about the company itself, Channable. Our history. Well, to be honest, in the beginning of 2013, our founders did not actually create Channable, but in 2014, they came up with the great idea that Channable should be it. And so on and so on. We started expanding through different markets, as you can see. First it was Benelux, then it was DACH, then it was France, and now we're actually expanding to Scandinavia and the UK. And by now we have more than 60 employees in this amazing new office in the center of Utrecht in the Netherlands. And we handle a lot of clients, but I'm gonna come back to that later. This is our team. We're all here to help you at any moment that you need help. And yes, let's carry on. So how does Channable work? Channable works like every other business: input, process, output. In this case, it's going to be import, optimize, export. On the import side, we have different e-commerce generation platforms, just like WooCommerce, Lightspeed, Magento, PrestaShop, and MyWebWinkel. You can also get your imports such as XML, CSV, and text. And here, the line in the middle will represent Channable itself and the optimization process, since we're an all-in-one product feed optimization tool. Within Channable, you can simply, quickly, effortlessly optimize your feed in such a way and manipulate the data that it's going to match, as I said, the specifications of different channels. Here we have some examples on the right side. Some of them are bol.com, Google, Amazon, and Marktplaats is also a Dutch one, but doesn't matter. The more the merrier. And of course, like every other teleshop host will say, wait, there's more. So of course, with the tool, we have an integrated Google AdWords, which creates a dynamic with which you can create a dynamic AdWord campaign, ad groups, or text ads. Google Shopping campaigns. You can also connect your Google Analytics so you can observe your performance, and order handling. The order handling is basically so you can get all the retrieved information back to your e-commerce platform. And this is the world, or our world. Basically in the blue, you can see all our active areas, and in pink, you can see the current focus area. Well, as I mentioned before, we're currently operating in Scandinavia and the UK. We just need to update it. And of course, the total users of Channable, we have a huge amount of partners, an even bigger amount of shops, and let's not talk about the products that we manage every single day. These are some of our partners, without which we couldn't be here today. And these are some of the biggest ones, and of course, some of our biggest customers. We have known faces just like Nike or Philips or Rituals, IKEA, of course, and so on and so on. The list is endless. Yes, so now in order to see actually what the tool can do, let's just deep dive into the tool, and we're gonna go into one of the demo accounts. And yes, shall we? Okay, so basically, this is how Channable looks. Of course, now currently I'm in a demo account of one of my colleagues because it's better. Of course, this is the main dashboard that you're gonna see with all the projects that someday you can have. And if you sign up today, then it's gonna be even sooner than you think. So let's just jump into the demo account. First of all, this is the dashboard itself. On the left-hand side, you're gonna see the total amount of imported products, the total amount of channels, and of course, the revenue. Hopefully, it's as big as this one. And of course, you're gonna see when was the last time your feed was updated. So I want to put a note here that we update the import every single 24 hours. Of course, it can be more often, but that depends on the kind of service that you desire. Here on the left side, we see a graph from all of the products. And if there's more products, of course, the graph is going to look different. But since this is a demo account, it has just 152 products and it has never changed. Here on the right-hand side, however, you can connect your Google Analytics and you can see all the different performances of the different channels that you've set. Quite pretty. And of course, if you click on it, you're gonna see the detailed information like sessions, transactions, conversion rates, revenues, and bounce rates to, again, every individual channel. Let's carry on. So now when we talked about the dashboard itself, we can see that there are several buttons on how do I view my statistics. And if you click one of those buttons, you're actually going to be redirected to a support article. So click away. Let's just jump into the setup. So in order to set up your web shop, first you have to import your feed. And this can be done easily by just clicking on import. In this case, it's combine imports because there's already an existing one. But we click on import and then we choose if we want an XML, CSV, text file, Google spreadsheet, or if you want to import with e-commerce platforms, we have a whole list out of it. Of course, after you have imported your feed, you will see that here the feed will actually download and import. And afterwards, it's gonna automatically redirect you to the page of edit mapping. As we can see, it's already finished. At the edit mapping page, we can see first on the left side, the imported fields. These are the fields that you have in your data feed. And on the right side, we see the internal channelable fields. So these are the fields. This is how the fields will appear in our tool. Of course, if we scroll down, we can always add a new field. And we're gonna see how that's gonna happen later because we might need it. Here you also have the choice to choose between custom or not custom fields. For example, if you need the size, you can either choose from the drop-down menu not custom field, it's a dynamic field. And if you want it to be custom, you can just click away and create your own field. After you're done playing around with your editing, with your mapping and your fields, you can just have to click save and import, and then we wait for it to import again. It should be pretty fast anyways. And then after it says finished, then we can jump to the products. Here again, you can see the support articles. Of course, here we have the products. This is how your product page will look like. You have different titles such as ID, image, title, description, link, and price. And here on the right hand side, we have a little filter box in which you can just type in dress, for example, and it's gonna just filter out all the products that contain this value. If we click on one of these products, we can actually see how does the product feed itself look. So this is how the feed looks per product. Of course, we have the additional image links and different fields in which we can, later on, we can manipulate, add, or delete values. Let's just jump into the feeds. Okay, so of course, here it's pretty easy. I forgot to mention that the software actually has a really user-friendly interface since everything is built up, down, and left to right. So it makes sense in any case. I was gonna make a joke, but no. So, of course, let's just dive into the Google Shopping. Of course, first, if you want to add in a feed, you can just click on Add New Feed, and let's call it Google Shopping Test. You choose your country, your desired target country. In this case, I'm gonna go for the, whoops, not for this one, for this one. Let's see. So here again, we have a search box that helps us find whatever we want really fast. And after we choose the desired feed, then we have to choose the type of market that we want, depending on what you're selling, of course. In this case, we're gonna go for fashion since we're selling clothes. And then we're just gonna click continue. The next step is the categorization step. So if we can either add a category just one by one, and this is gonna say, for example, if my title contains dress, add it to clothing, the desired Google category, of course. And if we save it, then here on the right hand side, we're gonna see exactly how many percentage of those products have been categorized. Yes, but if you have to do it one by one by the end of it, especially if you have more than 10,000 products, I reckon you're just gonna be like, no, stop, I don't wanna do this anymore. Well, for this case, we can also generate categories, and we usually generate categories according to product type. In this case, product category. Let's see. So now we generated several categories that have a different value in the product category field. And this is gonna make categorization faster and easier, because now you can just copy the value and place it here. And there we go. There's one. After we're done with the categorization, and after you've achieved at least 95% of the categorization, of course we recommend 100, because you want to know where you're sending your products to, you can just skip to the next stage, and that's the rules. In this stage, in this step, we actually is where the optimization happens. So let's just set a standard filter rule. I'm just gonna call it a filter. Perfect. So one of the rules that we do actually recommend our clients and customers and every person that uses Channable is to create a rule in which you're gonna exclude products that don't have a price, or the price is zero, because you don't want to sell actually those products. If somebody buys a product for free, that actually means that you're losing money. So with this rule, we can say if price is empty, or price is less or equal to 0. Of course, we also want to exclude products. We also want to exclude products that actually don't have stock. Is less or equal to 0. Take all fields and exclude. We can also add we can also exclude products that actually don't have an image. So let's just do it that way. Perfect. So now we're gonna see how many products were actually excluded from our product feed. Here on the right hand side again, you see the 22.4% of products. So the rules that we use in Channable are pretty powerful, because they're based on an if and then statement, and that gives you absolutely full control on your feed optimization. You can create different values, you can change, you can append, you can copy. I'm gonna go through it in a second. First, let's see the result of this rule. So basically now, if we look here, we can see that the ID, image, title, description, link, and price again. And here we see that some of the products don't have a price, some of the products don't have an image, and probably most of the products that are here have a stock of 0. Okay, so where were we? Yes. So after you decide how you want to optimize your feed, then you should just carry on with the next step, and that's the finalize step. In this step, we connect the internal channelable fields, just like in the edit mapping, but the vice versa of it, or the inverted of it. So we take the internal channelable fields, and of course we add them to the channel field name. This is basically the feed specification of the export channel. Here on the right side, you can see that it says the status, and it says mandatory, recommended, and optional. I reckon these values speak for themselves. And of course, the mandatory ones you do have to fill out. For example, Google product category will be linked to the category internal in this case, since we want to connect our internal categories that we already did in the second step of the feed with the external categories of it. So after we connect all the fields, we have to, we also recommend the recommended ones, of course, makes sense. I want to just put a side note here. If you actually don't know how to do it, here on the little question mark, you can always have an example of the values within the field. And if that's even not clear enough, here we again have a link that redirects us to a support article. And let's see, afterwards, after you connected all of your fields, we can actually do that. Material, there's no material. We can go back and add it into our import, but we'll do that in a second. Let's just save and run it and see what happens. Basically, in order to see your URL here, you have to activate your project. So I'm gonna do that right now. And we are going back to this one. Oh, my bad. So after we saved it and we finalized it, we ran the import, we will go to the preview. And here you have a preview of how your feed is gonna look when exported to the desired channel. Here you have the feed URL. You also have the option to download it as a CSV or just like an XML file. So the next step, we have the health check. In this step, we can see what you actually did wrong with the feed, with optimizing it, and we can always correct them by going back to the rules and fixing with different kinds of rules. So I'm just gonna go back quickly to show you what are actually the rules. Let's call it test. Of course, we can just grab the random field, and then we can say if the field contains, doesn't contain, or is equal to. Of course, we can choose different text values, multiples, in which we can say if the field contains multiple of those values, or we can choose a numeric value, or we can choose the advanced options to match the regex or don't match it. Of course, then we can take the desired field, let's just say contains a letter. We can take the title again, and this is where the fun part is, because we can in a way optimize and manipulate the outcome of the data. So you can actually set value to a certain field, append value, copy, combine, search for value in different fields, or maybe replace them. Of course, we can choose the different field from the drop-down menu. After we replace multiple values, we can split text, in which basically we can choose again a field from the drop-down, and you can split the text in order to crop whatever information you want from the field itself. Of course, we can set a maximum length, modify the text, or we can add to Google product category. Of course, we can do simple calculations, and maybe not even so simple, as we can calculate with fields and numbers. We can group products, we can list products, and of course we have the more advanced rules, which are the list rules. and we can sort the list, slice it, split the text, etc., etc., etc. We're gonna go in a more detailed information about the rules in the next webinar. And as I said, this is basically how the feed looks like. Afterwards, you can just copy your feed URL, paste it into your Google Merchant Center, and gain money, lots and lots of money. Next step, we go to the marketplaces. Of course, the marketplaces are basically really similar to the feed optimization. So it's the 5 same steps. We go through settings, categories, rules, and here instead of finalize, we have the build step. So let's just go really quickly through it. So first of all, of course, you want to set the connection itself. You put the name, you choose the connection that you want to do. In this case, it's Amazon, and you choose the unique ID per product, the desired country, and of course, here you can choose active or inactive. But first, it's better to build your marketplace and optimize it as how you want it to be. And then after you're satisfied with the end result, then you can click on active and activated. Again, here we have categories, and this is the same way as I showed you in the feeds. We can either generate categories, copy categories, or if you're done with it, just delete all of them. Afterwards, of course, we click save, and that automatically shows us how many products were categorized again, and how many products are left without a category. And again, if you're struggling, you can just click on this really small, cute support article up here in the right corner, and then you're gonna find some help. And if that doesn't help, you can always contact us in the help center. So again, we have the rules, the standard filter that I just showed you. We can check EN codes, especially for Amazon, because if Amazon doesn't recognize your EN codes, then the next step is pretty important in order for them to accept your products. And of course, here we can see how many products were excluded because of a non-valid EN code, or GTN in this case. In this case, we can just go to the next stage, is the build stage. And of course, here we can see the product, we can see the different fields that are going to be exported, and the images, of course, and the attribute builder. And the attribute builder is a lot of fun. So here you basically describe your product, so in the fields that Amazon requires by you. For example, the color map. Here you can either choose a static value, which you can say, I want the color to be blue. However, that will change the color to all of your products, and they'll all be blue. Or what you can do is actually choose a dynamic field, which will contain the information. And then we can see due to the small letters, it doesn't recognize it. However, if we go back to the rules, we can fix it, and then it's going to be again good. Here we can see the possible values for the field, of course. And of course, we have different fields such as size, outer material, material composition, etc., etc., etc. So the ones that are in red are the mandatory fields, and the others are just recommended. And again, after you fill out these fields, you can just continue onwards to the next stage, and that's going to be the preview stage. And here you're going to have a preview of how many advertisements, successful, errors, or warnings that you have. If you click on them, you're gonna have an overview of all of your advertisements. And here, of course, on the right hand side, you're gonna see just a summary of what's going on with the feed. And of course, we have AdWords. If we click on it, you can see it. And then we have the orders, but those features we're going to discuss in future webinars. And last but not least, I would like to discuss the settings. From here, you can activate your projects or deactivate them, of course. And then you have the scheduling information, and this is basically when do you want the feed to be run, the project to be run every single day. And afterwards, you click save, and your project is already active. That was for today. It was a pleasure for me during this webinar, and hope to see you again. Bye.